And they hate cats. I can stay fat. I got the from the block and they screaming, they know what Bank said. I got the work in the avenue, they know what Tank said. I got the live in the mansion, they know what that. I got some that's up in the jungle, they know what that. I came on top of the building, yeah, my we had a plan. We came on top of the building, yeah, my we never ran. Down there, thought that I had a fan. Oh, hey, 10 o'clock, got a flight out, yeah, I'm going back out to Japan. I got 2 Billy truck and a bitch door with a land. Bruce Wayne, I'm Batman, I'm best man. I got my best man, I go to hotels when I step out, yeah, your boy got a doorman. I go to nightclubs with yeah, they call me the madman. I ain't no madman, I just go crazy, man. Go hard, can't face, man. Choppers, rip wasteland. This what happens when you give it a taste life and you give it a wasteland. This what happens when you give it a fake life and then the ape man. I live with birds, come on. So like I see it tonight. Hey, I'm on your turf again. This, that, from the back of the I got a girl, Brett. She do the better shit. I live with birds, come on. Sounds like I see it tonight. Hey, I'm on your turf again. This, that, from the back of the I got a girl, Brett. She do the better shit.
EA Sports coverage of the NFL takes us to the architectural wonder that is the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in downtown Atlanta. A moment ago, here was the scene. The Falcons coming out from their tunnel to the roar of all the folks here in Atlanta. We're ready for football as these Falcons get set to match up with the Houston Texans. Here's the former UCLA Bruin, Kaimi Fairbairn, to get this one started. And we are underway here on EA Sports. He'll bring it back to just about the 25, call it the 24-yard line. They'll throw on first down with Ryan. Oh, this is taken in. It's complete. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. Give him 30 yards there.
If the post pattern is often equated as a change-up route, how about when you throw it to your big guy down the center of the field? Covered or not, you have great confidence he's going to come down with the football. And when he does, as we just saw, long gains often result.
They'll run for the first time with Devontae Freeman. And he's got this down to the 35. Give him 11 yards that time and a new set of downs. Well, no slow start here. A couple nice chunk plays back-to-back.
I love the momentum that they're showing here early because they did it both ways, right? Threw the ball on first down for a nice chunk of yardage. Came right back and ran the ball. Looks like they got the defense set back on their heels. Let's see if they can keep this moving.
Again, a first down carry. And this play will be blown up. He'll lose yardage back at the 38. A loss of a full 3 yards, and now it's second down. On second down, here's Ryan. This one complete to Mohamed Sanu. And this time not quite to the 30. It'll be down at the 31-yard line.
That was a nicely run slant route, and what the receiver's trying to do is make the defender think he's going upfield. for a deeper route and then breaks it off, usually after about 3 to 4 steps, and cuts towards the middle of the field. And now what he's trying to do is use his body to keep the defender away from the football and give the quarterback a really nice target.
The 25-yard line is what they need here. This is third down. He didn't seem in a rush. I guess they just didn't know where the play clock was.
I think you're right about that because there was no hurried movements there, right? No up-tempo at all. Clock just ran out. I think he was as surprised as maybe his bench was.
After the delay, they're backed up even further for third and long. Ryan. He's going to sling this deep downfield. And he bats it away, and it falls down incomplete.
Well, that certainly looked like something that they discussed all week in practice getting ready for this one. Take the big shot right out of the gate. At worst, you'll open up the defense a little bit, loosen them up, have them back on their heels.
And on their first drive, the offense staying out there. They're going to go for it on fourth. They'll try and throw for it with Ryan. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Jadeveon Clowney in there to drop him, and it'll be a loss of about 8. Well, trying to be bold on the opening drive of the game, but that effort, it proves futile.
How many times have we talked with coaches where they've talked about taking the emotion out of their decision-making? I think that opening drive, if he didn't have it in his head to go for it before, I think that keyed into it. They were doing so well, and he decided to really establish something there. They didn't get it. Now they've got to make sure that they don't lose their focus.
Here's Watson now on second down. And now he'll tuck it and run. A pickup of 11 and a Texans first down.
Man, defensively, that hurts. They got him out of his rhythm. They had him hemmed in, but somehow he was able to tuck it away and get away for a gain.
Now a play fake here on first down. Flush to his right. And they'll be inside the 35 now at the 34-yard line. He'll get 8 on the scramble there. It'll be second and a couple.
I think the last 2 plays really illustrate how difficult it is to game plan against this guy because you know he can throw the football, but how about his use of legs as well? What we call those broken plays, you can't account for them.
Yeah, those plays, those 2 that you just mentioned, a microcosm really of how he can hurt you. It's a 9-yard gain, and it keeps the drive moving. With Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin, and it's Texans football as we get going in quarter number 2. On first down, it's Watson. Hopkins on the grab over the middle. And he'll take it down here just shy of the 15 at the 16-yard line. Give him 9 there on the first down completion. Hopkins this year over 1,000 yards again. 4th time that he's done that in 6 NFL seasons. He had 1,572 to be exact.
And that was second only to Atlanta's Julio Jones. And you have to think the return of Deshaun Watson at the quarterback position, taking all the starts this year, that had to help because we've seen DeAndre Hopkins have big seasons with multiple quarterbacks, but have that one consistent guy only elevates his play.
Well, the defensive coverage was good, so good he just decided to make a play of his own, and it worked out.
Yeah, you often wonder if they think to themselves, was the coverage too good to allow him to run the football? I think you'd rather take your chances with him doing exactly that, and he beat him on that play all the way to the end zone.
Fairbairn now to kick this one away. That's fielded in the end zone. And he'll take it up past the 25 to the 26.
Contract with my 50 affordable. My agent, an idiot agent at the time, had to submit the papers, so that triggered the trade. So it wasn't like they were trying to get rid of me. Yeah, that's a business move. Okay, but they didn't want you around anymore. Trust me on that. What do you mean? If they didn't want me, they would have gotten rid of me after my 5th year. Well, they could have traded you.
Well, you were really good, too. You were arguably the best receiver in pro football at that point, and they didn't want you around anymore.
They didn't just trade.
Okay, let's get to the deepest issue was with the quarterback.
For the Falcons, Charles, we talked all year about the injuries that they had in 2018, and you kind of touched on it earlier, too. It's hard to get around them, though, when you look back at this past year. So they go to 7-9, and I know that that's not what they wanted, but with all the injuries, is that okay?
It would be if you didn't think you were going to the Super Bowl. You know, if you didn't think you had a chance at that, and they did going into the season. But when you lose your starting safeties in Ricardo Allen and Keanu Neal, your middle linebacker Deion Jones for a long stretch of time, you end up starting 1-4. Then in the second half of the season, you have a 5-game.
And he fires one that's intercepted. It's the Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu. And he'll return it to the 24-yard line.
Brandon, this is a veteran quarterback back there. He should know better than to make a throw like this. This is definitely not his best ball. And I think he knew this was trouble the second it was leaving his hand.
After the interception, here's Watson being chased out left. Looking left sideline, but it's incomplete. Will Fuller was the intended target, and it's second down.
Had the right idea there, trying to throw it to the sideline, but he let it just a little bit too much, trying to get it out to his receiver. Ends up falling to the ground, incomplete.
Watson. And he's able to get it to the edge of the red zone at the 20-yard line. He'll wind up getting 4 there on his own, but it will leave him now with a third down situation. And on third down, a nickel formation here defensively. A shotgun snap for Watson. Griffin's got it, middle of the field. And he gets the first down yardage before he's brought down just outside the 10 at the 11. Watson going to give this one to Miller. And he'll take this one inside the 10, down to the 8. A gain of 3, second down. Well, Charles, it feels like Lamar Miller's been around the NFL forever, but he's still just going to turn 28 in April. This past year, though, 973 rushing yards, good for 12th in the league.
And you know that he's capable of being a 1,000-yard runner year in and year out, save for some injuries, and maybe utilizing the pass game a little bit more in Houston. 4.6 yards per carry is a...
Blitz coming, and down he goes. Man, he got in there so quickly, Charles. What could the offense have done to adjust and account for that?
But what you're hoping is that you figure out and you see and get a clue that maybe there's going to be some pressure coming at you, and you change the blocking schemes. Maybe you go to max protection. The biggest one is maybe you bring your running back in to try and keep you clean. But in that case, that didn't happen. Zero accountability, and a sack resulted.
2 minutes to go here in the first half. We're back to Atlanta right after this timeout. Third and long. It's Watson setting up the screen for Miller. And he'll be brought down this time at the 5-yard line. The screen does give him 9, but it also brings up a 4th down. Instead of throwing it downfield, Charles, they just tried to dump it underneath there. Do you like the call?
I do. I think it's a high percentage play because you get the completion, and what you're counting on is your back to use his legs and his elusiveness to make people miss and pick up the first down. In this case, it didn't happen.
The kick by Fairbairn is good. And the lead moves to 10-zip. A good drive gets them inside the 5, but they could not punch it in.
And credit the defense, too. Make sure that happens, because that was the old bend but don't break approach. Made sure they contained them when they absolutely had to and forced the field goal attempt that went through.
That'll be taken in the end zone. And he'll make it across the 20 as his guys will set up shop at the 23-yard line. Before this next drive gets going, we need to discuss the Hall of Fame inductees. There will be 8 in the 2019 class. We got Champ Bailey, Tony Gonzalez, Ty Law. Who else am I forgetting in there?
Well, how about a big guy, a lineman, Kevin Mawai, who was absolutely terrific in his career. How about Ed Reed with the Baltimore Ravens? And
he can't escape the pressure. Ryan goes down. J.J. Watt in there to make the sack. He buries him for a loss of 10. On second down, Ryan. Now he'll let it go deep over the middle. Looking for Jones, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Justin Reed. And a big return will get him all the way down to the 35. Falcons going to use another timeout. So that means they're down to 1 remaining here as we head toward halftime. Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10. Watson on 1st down. Steps away to his left. And this time not quite to the 30. It'll be down at the 31-yard line. He'll wind up getting right about 4 there on the scramble, and it's 2nd down.
So many times we talk about having good eye discipline when you're playing defense, making sure your eye...
Trying to get it to Thomas, and it's intercepted. Picked up by Keanu Neal. And the return here will go to the 31-yard line. He was trying to hit Thomas that time.
Well, I get what he was trying to do. He was moving to his right and trying to shift the coverage, but instead he shifted the coverage also to the right and threw right into it for an interception.
Shut up!
The drive will start with a carry by Devontae Freeman. And he'll be tackled at about the 35. Call it a gain of 4 on 1st, and that'll make it 2nd down.
Well, they did throw interceptions on their last 2 drives, so no surprise at all they decided to start it with a running play. I'm actually a little bit surprised, though, that they got as much out of it as they did.
Yeah, decent little gain. Puts them in a pretty good spot for 2nd down. Now, a deep ball there on 2nd down, but it'll wind up incomplete. So the long attempt falls innocently to the ground, and it brings up 3rd. So after the 2nd down incompletion, they'll come up now against a 3rd and 6. Now it's Ryan. He's going to air one out. And that is incomplete. So 17 seconds now on the clock here.
Not only was the call spot on, how about the execution of that defense right there? The zone was absolutely locked up tight. He was trying to force it in there on 3rd down.
But if there's a time to force it, he felt like he needed to make a play, right?
Yeah, exactly right. 3rd down, you got to try and find something. There's nothing available there for him.
The punter Bosher on now as he gets this one away. This is fielded at the 7. 12 yards on the return that time. And control of the football switching hands with very little time remaining until the half. But the Houston Texans, as they come onto the field, obviously their offseason hit a little earlier than they wanted in January, making it to the playoffs, losing to Indianapolis. It was the first time that two AFC South teams had actually met in the playoffs when they squared off with the Colts.
And think about how the two of them began the year. Houston began 0-3. The Colts began 1-5. Yet they both finished so hot. The Colts down the stretch, 9-1 in their last 10. Houston 8-2, and end up meeting in the playoffs. And both of them ended up winning on the other team's home field. The Colts did it twice. Houston did it once.
But as you said several times, hard for Houston to be completely disappointed with the ending. They have a lot to build on for next year. So we have reached halftime here. It's the visitors, the Texans, out in front. As we send you to Orlando to check in with Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach? And a fair catch signaled for and taken successfully. The Texans offense now, they get set to head back on the field here. They built a good first half lead. Now they have a chance to add on to it.
And what I'm thinking is that the offensive staff spent the entire halftime just working with them on, here's what we think they're going to do to attack us in the second half. Nice first half that we've had, guys, but be prepared for some change-ups. We're going to see them when we kick it off in the second half.
See how they handle any adjustments that might be made defensively. And he overshot him there. It's out of bounds, incomplete.
And that's one he's got to be happy to have back. There wasn't a hole open in the zone.
You'd have to think on early downs like that first down there, need to be a little bit more careful.
Yeah, fortunately for him, got a couple more downs to play with.
Back to the air, Watson on second down. He'll try and set up the screen. It's complete. And he will lose yardage and be backed up to the 24. It'll be a loss of a yard, and that's going to lead to a 3rd and 11. From the gun, here's Watson. And he couldn't hang on to it through the contact. Incomplete.
You hear the calls for a penalty, but I just don't think so. I think in this situation, the defender was making sure his guy couldn't hold on to the football. So I don't see anything that warranted a flag.
No, I'm with you. There was contact, but I'm happy they kept that flag in the back pocket. Fielded at the 20. Officially, that'll go as a 52-yard punt. Not too shabby. And the Falcons will be taking over 1st and 10. Here comes the Falcons offense. It's their first possession of the second half now. These guys had to punt last time. It has not been a very fruitful game offensively thus far. They haven't even made a trip to the red zone. And I know that everyone's going crazy on that sideline because that drives you berserk to come off the field, not really move the ball well. As you said, not even get to the red zone, let alone, not even put points on the board. They've got to just take a deep breath, relax, try and figure out what is working, and call more of that. Tough first half for him, unable to put up the numbers he's used to producing. But with a guy like him, you and I both know it just takes a couple of explosive touches for him to make an impact on this game and on the stat sheet as well. And he slips up past the 45 before being tackled. Ryan to Sanu, good for an Atlanta first down. Throwing now, Ryan on first down. Under pressure, and the Texans able to get in there for the sack. Whitney Merciless in there to drop him, and it'll be a loss of about 8. On second down, Freeman. Looking for an opening, not much there. He'll get it to the 39. Jonathan Joseph there for the tackle.
Well, they still have time to get him established, but in my estimation, they've got to pick up the urgency here. They've got to get quickly in and out of the huddle and run off a bunch more plays.
And he can't escape the pressure. Ryan goes down. J.J. Watt in there to pick up his 2nd sack now of the afternoon. Here's Matt Bosher now as he'll kick it away for the 2nd time. He gets this one away, and boy, it's another boomer. Out comes the Houston offense as they get set to take over here. This crew had to punt last time they had the ball, but when you've got a lead like this, you content to play the field position game?
You are to an extent, especially if you like your defense, because you have the lead, you've been controlling the game. But why put them in a tougher spot? You want to get out there and get something done on offense and maybe take command of this game yourself.
They go play action here on first down. Eluding the pressure right. And he takes a shot on the release as this will be incomplete. A pretty good coverage there, and both of these defenses, they've had good coverage throughout this one.
No doubt about it, and in today's NFL, where we're used to a bit more scoring, this feels almost like a well-pitched game in baseball on both sides where the tension continues to build. Who's going to make the big play?
Here's Watson. Escaping the pressure right. And he fires one incomplete.
We've seen these defenses make enough opportunistic plays to keep this one low scoring. Flying around, making plays on the ball, and we see yet another errant throw as a result.
Big play coming up. Here's 3rd and 10.
I would expect to see some pressure here.
The pressure drops off as they'll look to throw. Forced out to his left. And that's incomplete. Brian Poole that time there to get a hand on it.
Certainly looked like they were getting ready to convert there on 3rd down, but what an effort to get his hand on that one, knock it away, and brings up a 4th down decision.
And the punt team on now as this one's sent away. That's taken on the 25. And bulldozing his way through. 21 yards. Well done on the return. Going to use the first of their timeouts. That'll leave them with 2 remaining. We'll be back after this. Ryan and the Falcons now come up 1st and 10 at their own 46. Here's Ryan. Trying to lay one up deep. This is caught inside the 15. A big-time play there for the Falcons. 42 yards. They've been struggling in the passing game. Do you like the aggressiveness there? I mean, it worked on that play, but do you like it?
I do, because a lot of the time you're struggling because your passing lanes are clogged. That usually happens when you're throwing the ball underneath. People start to press up on you. Push them deep. Find some space and open things up again. Being aggressive there, I think, will pay off for them.
That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be 2nd down.
The short field shrinks even more with the type of bodies they brought in on that play. Those extra tight ends, they weren't able to secure their blocks, and that one ended up going backwards.
Now Ryan on 2nd down. And he's going to be intercepted a 3rd time. Zach Cunningham with a pick. And he'll be stopped shy of the 15 at the 14-yard line on the return. Thought they had something going there to break that goose egg here in the 2nd half, but to no avail.
Hope was alive until that interception. What a terrific play, taking the ball away after it looked like they were starting a drive.
And now that shutout still standing. You know that's something those defensive guys hold a lot of pride on, too.
No doubt about it. They're excited about where they are in this game.
Escapes the sack. Breaks the tackle. He's got room to run. A gain of 11 to kick off the drive, and it's a quick 1st down. Watson now 6 for 6 since coming back out of the locker room. It's 1st and 10.
Down. Back 22. Back 22.
Back now here on EA Sports. It's the Texans in control of the football and leading this game as well as we start the 4th. first down carry now for Miller. And this one goes nowhere. Losing yardage back at the 22. A loss of a full 3 yards, and now it's second down. Got to figure now, after getting that turnover, they're just going to be happy to keep the ball on the ground, right?
This is where covering the football, taking care of the ball, all the ball security terms that have ever been used, they come into play for the guys on offense right now. Just take care of it, and they've got a good chance of ending up winning this game.
On second down, here's Watson. Dancing to his left. And he'll get this up past the 25 before he's out of bounds. 6 yards there off the scramble, but it'll still leave him with a third down.
I like his thought process and his ability to move and get downfield. But what I didn't like was the final decision, to go out of bounds. They want to keep the clock moving. Instead, they give the defense an extra timeout.
Now it's Watson, and he finds his man Griffin. And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down. A gain of 19 and picking up the first. So signs of life in what's been a dormant offense in this second half. Here's 1st and 10. They'll run it here. This is Deontay Foreman. And he stopped immediately there. No gain on the play. It'll be second down. The fourth quarter here, they've got the lead. They want to keep it on the ground. That's what they're doing.
Smart football. Keep the clock grinding. Keep it going. But you got to figure now, they're going to see more people stacked up at the line of scrimmage as they try and bleed it out.
Back 22! Back 22!
They keep it on the ground. This time it's Miller. And he's over midfield and into Falcon territory. It's a 4-yard pickup there, and it leaves him with 3rd and 5.
Bottom line, they want to keep this clock rolling, so they'll take that one right there. They just want to keep falling forward, and they want to put the onus on the big fellas up front in order to bring this one home.
The Texans on 3rd down, 2 for 5 to this point. This will be 3rd and 5.
Hey! Back 22! Back 22!
Out of the gun, Watson. He'll buy some time right. And he's got the completion to Hopkins. Texans passing game in rhythm right now, picking up another first.
Looked like the defense put pretty good pressure on him, but he's able to flush out to his right to try and evade people. On the run, had to get on his horse. Still accurately throws a nice pass for a first down.
And not totally home free yet, but it's looking good as they come up 1st and 10. Watson hands this to Foreman, and he will lose yardage here to the 31-yard line. It's a loss of a yard there, and now second down. Time for a break. We'll come back to wrap this one up after this. You'd have to think likely another running play coming here, 2nd and 11. To throw on second is Watson. Under a heavy rush, and down he goes. Brooks Reed. So fresh out of the 2-minute warning, and here's another timeout taken with 1:55 remaining. In there to bring him down for a loss of 7. Gonna need something special here on 3rd and long. After that sack, what does Watson have in his arsenal? Watson. Caught here by Griffin. And he'll be a couple yards shy of the red zone here at the 22-yard line. They wind up getting 16, but even that's not quite enough. It's 4th down. So on 4th down, out trots the kicker in a big spot here. He connected on his first. This time it's 39 yards away. Fairbairn able to put this one through. And that'll push the lead up to 13-0. So they settle for just the 3, but clearly right now anything helps trying to salt this one away in the 4th.
Without a doubt, obviously a touchdown probably would have been the final nail to finish this thing off, but it's still ate up time, got points. So while it's not mission accomplished, it's darn close.
And he'll wind up about 4 yards shy of where he would have been if he had taken a knee, as they'll start at the 21-yard line. Atlanta now coming out on the field. And 3 interceptions in this game. And I would have to think, I wasn't a quarterback, but number 4 is kind of, you're like, oh, man, I can't throw 4.
No, what's interesting is what do the coaches decide to do now? Having thrown 3, do you alter your offensive strategy? Do you take the ball out of his hands and maybe turn to the running game? Or do you have that supreme confidence that he's going to turn things around?
We'll see what they do. And he's able to get up here to the 26. 5 yards on the catch there, brings up 2nd down. And right now, defensively, you love that, don't you? I mean, you'll give them that play.
And they'll take it every single time.
And he's going to go down. The Texans come at him and able to bring him to the ground. J.J. Watt in there to take him down, and the clock will roll. Third and long. It's Ryan. Under pressure again, and down he goes again. Jadeveon Clowney in there to get him his 2nd sack now of the afternoon. Now the Texans are going to stop it as they signal for a timeout. It's just their first. They've got 2 more to use here in the final stages. Here we go. It's Ryan on 4th down. And that is incomplete. 16 seconds now on the clock. They had to go for it with such little time remaining. And that'll be just about all she wrote for this one. Well, they probably don't need to run a play here, but you wonder if they're going to be able to resist on 1st and goal. They isolate Hopkins on the left side. To throw is Watson. That is caught. Hopkins for the Texans touchdown. DeAndre Hopkins from 3 yards out. And the Texans will extend their lead. Now Watson, he's going to lead the Texans up to go for 2. Watson now to throw. And he's going to be swallowed up and taken down. Sacked back at the 5-yard line. Fairbairn now to kick this one away. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And no thought to bring this one out. He'll just go down to a knee, and they'll take over at the 25. Here comes the Atlanta offense now ready to take over here. They are down big. They have not scored a single point. I don't know. Are they so defeated at this point you just want to get in the locker room, get the heck out of here?
That is one way to approach it. Sometimes coaches say, that's it, okay? It hasn't worked all game. There's no sense in doing something now. Let's get out of here. No one gets hurt. But others will look at it and say, we still have an opportunity to do something.
There's pride on the line.
Exactly. You have pride on the line, execution as you look forward and get ready for your next game, and a message to your team. We're not going to quit. No matter what the battle is, we're going to finish this thing out.
Now problems right out of the gate. We're going to get a delay. They were trying to create some space to run. They created the penalty.
And you work on it so much. You work on it so hard. But it's tough to simulate game speed in practice. That often runs you into a penalty.
Texans want to call another timeout. That'll leave them with just one remaining in this fourth quarter of play. The delay of game backs him up 5, 1st and 15.
Get up!
Out of the gun, it's Ryan. And he's going to be grabbed and pulled down. And now with 4 seconds left, we get a timeout call. After the sack, oh, they're staring at a challenge basically from the other side of town. It's 2nd and a country mile. One last shot for Ryan. Now a desperation throw deep, and his pass is intercepted for the 4th time today. It's the Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu. The storyline of this one, Charles, no doubt the number 0. Zilch, nada. A shutout so hard to do in the NFL.
It really is, and what an accomplishment, because you feel that not just on the defensive side, but as a full team. There's a lot of pride that goes into shutting out an opponent. And how about that 0 on the scoreboard for them, going along with those zeros in the time column too.
So that'll just about do it for Charles Davis. I'm Brandon Gaudin. You've been watching the NFL on EA Sports. For more, log on to easports.com. So long, everybody.
It's one of them ones, man. You just in the car, man. It's like when you in the car, you just think about everything, man. Definitely when you by yourself, you just cruising on the highway, man. Yeah, this got me thinking. On that cap, swerving through traffic, listening to trap. My windows ain't tinted, so notice me. 4 braids, Yankee fitted, yeah, know it's me. I'm everywhere comfortable, but I'm still attentive. A young with money will make offended. I ain't flashy, I'm classy, but I ain't stupid either. Never show up to that's hungry and eager. My brother's keeper, I'm loyal, it's all in my demeanor. A true believer, I believe when they didn't believe her. That's why I don't let opinions affect me. I do what I want to do. If they do or they don't accept me, they expect me to give up. I almost did. Things went from moving faster, slow motion. I was losing focus, stuck on that. It was smooth on the surface, but underneath it was broken. Hoping to find hope in this hopeless world we live in. What you give is what you given. Gotta make wise decisions. Gotta stay tunnel vision. Gotta avoid collision. Keep scratching the surface and keep your palms itching. Gotta pay moms a visit. It's been a while. I've been working, she keep telling me she miss her child. I find myself passing the house, then I spin around. She say I'm always moving, I just can't sit around. Oh my, cause the cash ain't gonna come to us. When we was down, who gave a dime or gave a for us? So instead of making it hard, I made it fun for us. Make it easy, so when you need it, you just run to us. But it's a lot of pressure, I'm trying to stick and move through this. Fixing these bumps on the road so I can just cruise to this. Living my life on the road, I'm trying to get used to this. And when they throw dirt, I just act like a broom to this. Trying to stay true to this. Even when they lie on me. World on my shoulders, my girl can't even cry on me. God watching over me, the devil probably spy on me. I've been going through some, Kenneth keep an eye on me. I know it's been a drought, but to my fans, don't go dry on me. If you want a picture, take a picture, don't get shy on me. I'm here to inspire, I admire that you admire me. I've been in the dark, but I promise you'll see a bright of me. I'm sorry. So my supporters, man, I love y'all. I just want to say thank you for supporting me since day one. These don't want to see me win, man. I don't know why, but we gonna win anyway. Came straight out the with a microphone. Boy, I swear I couldn't leave that mic alone. Everybody clear the room, I like to write alone. I'm in my zone, bass bouncing off the styrofoam. I'm never in between, I'm either hot or cold. Can't be a loser, I maneuver like I got a clone. I'm out here in these streets like I ain't got a home. And you barely hear from me like I ain't got a phone. Because there's no days off, there's no days off. I know it sounds a little painful, but it pays off. Social sites was distracting, so I stayed off. Spoke to God that me and Satan had a face off. I swear my life was like a rocket, then it takes off. First I plotted, then I got it, couldn't wait long. I put the pedal to the metal, then took the brakes off. And I kept it A1 like the steak sauce. My paychecks used to be a pair of Jordans, and I know I can't afford them, but I went ahead and bought them. Then I quit, started spent my money on recording. Yeah, the studio was small, but man, that made me a fortune. Made me a fortune, man. Trying to stop me. Y'all can't stop me. This is forever. Forever, man. I mean that.
Speaking of flexibility, time, positions, like the protractor. What, 7 days?
Next up, we have a very special model who loves her clothes so much that, they said they wanted to hear what model wanted to come out.
I'm always trying to get to the next place. And I'm willing to take that chance. But there's always half the people gonna like you, half will not. But the half that dislike you, they just dislike you because they like stuff. You know?
They gon' let me in this club in these dirty vans. Clean money
got potential, I scout that. She said she in love, but I doubt that. Maybe
It's the second round of the Madden Ultimate Team Playoffs.
Here's Blair Walsh now about ready to get us started. And into a sea of red, we're underway in Kansas City. This fielded at the 2. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here at the 30-yard line. So 1st and 10 now from the 30. Now a play fake here on 1st down. Oh, he's going to air it out right away. And he knocks the ball away, and it falls incomplete. Calvin Johnson, the intended receiver, and that'll bring up 2nd down.
It's always a battle. Who's going to win on 1st down, the offense or the defense? Let's face it, if you've got the ball, 4 yards or more on 1st down is what you're aiming for. They tried to throw for it there. Nice effort to knock that one away and bring up 2nd down.
Throwing again is Watson. Going deep here for Edelman. And that's caught inside the 35. Touchdown, Houston. Julian Edelman, 70 yards. And the Texans have taken the early lead. Not a bad way to start it.
And I think that was part of their script, because so many teams script their opening possessions, and whether it's just that possession or even deeper into the half, sometimes it's 15 to 30 plays. That had to be one in there where they call a shot play. Go for the big one, and they got it done.
Oh, it's a fake. They'll try and throw for it. And it's caught inside the 5. And he'll get into the end zone as the 2-point conversion is successful.
We're talking new football here. We're talking new models, new paradigms, new ways of looking at things. They score, line up for the PAT, fake it, and go up 8-0. I'm kind of at a loss here, because if I'm going to go for 2, I'm going to ask them to put the ball in the 2-yard and bring my offense out.
Exactly. Opening drive of the game, faking it is bold enough from the 15. That's quite another thing.
I know a lot of people fall back on analytics, but still, I think that person would tell you, put your offense in and go from the 2, not from the 15.
Still got it, though.
Yes, they did. Give them credit.
If there's a child molester in your neighborhood.
Leonardo DiCaprio with a big problem facing our country Thursday.
They fake the give. Now Elway. And no, incomplete. Boy, they took a shot there on the first play, trying to start it out with a bang. But it's 2nd down.
Well, I guess we just discovered that someone is certainly not going to sit back and just take it in this game, huh?
No, they were trying to get that touchdown back in one shot.
One shot, trying to help out his defense and let the other team know they were coming after him.
Elway. And this time he's got the hook up. It's complete. That catch good for 5. It's 3rd down. Now, Charles, what's the mindset here offensively? You gave up the touchdown pretty quickly. Would it have changed if you had gotten a stop and it would be 0-0 right now, or no?
I wouldn't think so. I think in most cases, just down a touchdown, you know, I mean, we're just getting started here. It should be a long way to go. You think to yourself, stick with the game plan, all the things you worked on in practice. But you have some teams that when they get down, their natural tendency is to aggressively strike back.
And Gurley, he fumbled it. Gurley fumbles the football. It's loose. And the Texans scoop it. And it's a touchdown. So the defense forces the fumble. They get the score, and a guy on defense becoming offensive there, Charles.
And you know they love that. Any guy on defense loves to pick up the ball and have it in his hands and try and score himself. In this case, that's exactly what happened.
He'll be singing in the shower post-game.
Okay, they went for the fake off of the extra point attempt. It's a long way to go, and they didn't get there. Didn't get it completed successfully. Did someone dare them to do that? Did someone double dog dare them to do that?
Maybe they saw something on film, but do you see something on film with those to try something from the 15 on a PAT? I don't know.
The only thing they needed to see on film there was a snap, a hold, and someone kicking the ball through the post.
Todd Gurley and the offense, they get set and trot back out there now. Looking for a bounce back. Had the fumble a moment ago that went for a touchdown the other direction. See if he can get back in rhythm.
And you have to be very careful about having too quick of a hook with really good players. I did a guy's game in high school where he fumbled 3 times in the first quarter, finished with over 300 yards on the night, later ended up in the NFL. If you got a talented back, give it back to him.
Well, you're down early. How do you get back in the game? Maybe establish the run. I think they're trying to do that.
Now, I'm with you on that one, and what I like about the message is that there's no panic from the head coach. He's already told his offensive coordinator, let's run the football. Let's get things settled.
And now look at this. Big gain, but a fumble. And the Texans say they have it. They do. So the defense there, opportunistic.
It's nice to give them credit, isn't it? Because so many times it's more a matter of what the offensive guy didn't do. Didn't secure the ball, didn't cover up. In this case, just give credit to where it belongs. Knocked it free.
Through an opening, and there he goes. Touchdown, Houston. Calvin Johnson, 54 yards. And the Texans will add on to their lead.
Well, Brandon, if we go back to our meeting with the offensive coordinator, he showed us his script. Didn't show us everything now. He said, here's the script for the game. I think everything's going according to plan in a big way. 3 drives, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's about as good. That is as good as you can do, I guess. So, well done. Yeah. Oh, they flip it to the kicker. He looks like he's going to throw it. That's going to be caught at the 10-yard line. And he will get into the end zone to extend the lead by 2 more. Here's Walsh now to kick this one off. That's fielded in the end zone. And he elects not to bring this one out as his guys will take over at the 25. And out now comes Jacksonville as they get ready to go. And some dangerous territory. You're already down 3 scores. A 3-and-out here or an inability to put any points up. This one might be over by half.
Yeah, and what you also have to guard against is calling every play for a big shot downfield. You know, thinking you're going to get all these points back on one drive. You're not. And last time I looked, it's still the first half. I'm not saying you have ultimate patience here, but you also don't have to go ahead and force everything either. The goal for any offense versus his own defense, find the holes where guys are available and put the ball on the receiver before any defender can step up.
Under pressure, and the Texans able to get in there for the sack. Armani Bryant, he's the one that got to him. He takes him down for a loss of 9.
3 scores down, not even a halftime yet. They are not getting much generated offensively. They've got to figure it out.
It's tough because this defense just seems to be playing with so much confidence right now.
They really are. They are on their toes, and they're getting at them.
And he'll get this up to about the 40. Give him 6 on the run. They're going to be faced now with a 3rd and 12.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent game.
Alongside the former defensive back Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. It's Jaguar football as we begin quarter number 2. They do, however, have a tough 3rd and long coming up. From the shotgun, Elway. Into heavy traffic, and it's intercepted. Deion Sanders, the Hall of Famer, with a pick. And his guys are going to take over at the 39-yard line. Edelman, the intended receiver that time.
And an interception in the end zone for Deion Sanders. That takes me back to, I believe, his last game at Florida State, a Sugar Bowl game against Auburn. The last play of the game, he switched assignments to make sure he was on the top receiver call.
And this will be caught at the 30. Touchdown, Houston. Julian Edelman, 2 catches, 2 touchdowns here so far. And the Texans will extend their lead. Now, he's having a nice little first half here, partner.
And it's a first half that leaves us anticipating what...
Oh, they flip it to the kicker. He looks like he's going to throw it. That is caught at the 7-yard line. And they are 3 for 3 on 2-point conversions as he is into the end zone for the score.
Partner, there are big They snap the ball from the 15 for a regular PAT, yet they fake it and get it. Is the kicker's leg tired? What's going on here?
I don't know, but defensively, now with this deficit, now you add 2 more onto that. They fake the PAT. That stings a little.
It definitely stings, and I know the guys that I played for, they wouldn't be as mad at the opposition as they would have been at us for allowing that to happen.
And out now comes Jacksonville as they get ready to go. Typically down to the first half, I might say, oh, you at least need a field goal out of this drive, but they're down to the point where they need a touchdown, don't they?
Yeah, normally, you know me. You've been around me for a while now, right?
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. But normally, I'm the one preaching patience.
Yeah.
You know, take your time, first half, you still got a chance. I think they're out of patience here. This has to be a drive that gets a touchdown. So if you're the play caller, you're going to that portion of the sheet that says big-time plays, specials, anything you can use to get yourself back into it.
So now they'll come up on 2nd and 10, once again from the 28.
Hurry up, here we go. Blue line it. Blue line.
2nd and 10, Elway. Got his man complete over the middle. That's Doyle. And now look at this. Big gain, but a fumble. But it looked like a Jaguar was able to cover this thing, and so Jacksonville will keep control. So they escape, so to speak, maintaining the football. Defensively, though, opportunity miss.
It definitely was, because that's all defenses talk about. Getting the football and either advancing it the other way or just getting possession and turning it over to their offense. That can be a little bit deflating. You're exactly right. A lost opportunity.
2 yards on the carry there. It'll be 2nd down. 2 minutes remain here in the first half. We remind you that coming up at halftime, Jonathan Coachman will be alongside. He'll have highlights and analysis from Orlando of this first half of action. Now it's Elway. Throwing over the middle, but it's incomplete. 6-time Pro Bowler Calvin Johnson, the intended target. 3rd down here.
This defense has been very disruptive early on as they force another one to go awry.
Seems to be the front and the back end. Pass rush, they've been able to get home, and they're taking the ball away in coverage as well.
I love how you put it together. The front and back working in sync, only way to play good defense.
They get 7 there, but it brings up 4th.
So much about offense is what you call hidden yardage. You know, you throw the ball to someone, they catch it, and then they can make a big play. You know, they create a play, run after catch. They did a really nice job there of limiting that and keeping him from a first down.
Yeah, stopped him in his tracks. Julian Edelman gets ready to take the field again here on offense. We're in the 2nd quarter. He already has 2 touchdowns. We know how good he is. That's well documented. How do you contain him?
We know he's a nightmare. So in this situation,
he's got the lane, and there he goes. The 20. And he's in. Touchdown, Houston. Calvin Johnson, 78 yards. And the Texans add on.
I know Paul Revere talked about by land or by sea, right? You know, 1 by land, 2 by sea. He didn't mention air because right now we're seeing a big-time performance, aren't we? That's 2 touchdowns so far in this game.
Where'd you pull that one from?
And, you know, every now and then I actually listened in history class.
And you're just a scholar all the way around. You're reading all the time. I like that you fit that into the broadcast.
You know, I just grab a nugget when I can.
Walsh adds the extra point, and a rout is on here in this first half. And they're able to get the connection on the long touchdown pass, and that's one of the easiest drive summaries you'll ever see. 1 play, touchdown.
I was disturbed and violent and raging. Why this mesmerizing story hits home for so many of you? That is like being crucified.
Here's Walsh now to kick this one off. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And the decision to come out is going to cost him 5 as he's taken down right at the 20. Out comes the Jacksonville offense as they get set to take over here. And down on the scoreboard, certainly needing to avoid what happened on the last drive, punting the football.
Sense of urgency has to take over for them.
And a loose football. And the Texans say they have it. They do.
The psychology of the game never ceases to amaze me because you would think there would never be a fumble from what we hear from coaches all the time, right?
And how much they practice not fumbling.
Practice it, preach it, talk about it all the time. You would think no one would ever turn it over.
And they'll take this one in for a Texans touchdown. Calvin Johnson on his way to a monster game. 3 first-half touchdowns. And the Texans continue to pour it on. So not only is that his 3rd touchdown catch of the game, he's done it here in the first half.
I'm not sure defensively what they're going to come up with to slow him down because already we're seeing him run past, over, through guys in order to make these catches. And being able to try and shut him down at this stage of the game, it's going to take a lot of effort. So maybe it'll open things up for some other people.
Well, they better figure something out, and soon. Here's Walsh now to kick this one off. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Out comes the Jaguar offense now as they get set to take over. And they had the fumble last time that led to a touchdown. That's a no-no. We'll see what they do here this go-around.
A big no-no. Put that in capital.
And he loses the football a second time. And the Texans say they have it. They do.
So after that sequence, if we're watching both teams' defenses, didn't it feel like a revolving door? One's on, they think they're off for a while. The other has to come on, they think they're on for a while. Then they're off, here comes the other one. Just kept turning the ball over. They've got to cut that out.
Looking deep downfield. And got his man. It's caught. Touchdown, Houston. Calvin Johnson on his way to a historic performance. 4 first-half touchdowns. And the Texans add on.
I heard a coach talk about those late-in-the-half scores, especially ones that give your team a pretty decent cushion. He said those could be the ones that could finish off a squad if you let them.
Yeah, they've got the cushion. This half has been theirs. Extra point up and good by Walsh. And a rout is on here in this first half.
Coming up, what Michael knows about his friend Charles.
Here's Walsh now to kick this one off. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And the decision to bring it out, a good one, as he's up a yard or two shy of the 30. The Houston defense we watch as they get set to go. And they have been popping the ball free here seemingly at every turn. I mean, let's watch all these fumbles they created.
That's really good coaching, and it's excellent execution.
They like I walk in a place and say, hey, listen to me. They were coming to me, asking me questions, and I'm always be honest. All right, here we go. That's the only thing I'm always saying about the press. That's the
On first down, Elway. Looking left side, and he's got a man. It's Doyle. But I think the ball's out. And the Texans say they have it. They do.
It's not exactly round and round we go, but I'm looking at the poor defenses. All right, back-to-back possessions. The ball's turned over.
Back-to-back plays.
I mean, just that quickly. And you think you're going to the bench to get a little break, and all of a sudden you're hearing sudden change. Get back out there. Grabbing your helmets and running back out on the field. I don't think it's going to affect them much now. But if this keeps up, you're going to have two very angry defenses. You want the offense to take care of the ball.
Following the fumble recovery, Watson. And it is caught. Touchdown, Texans. Calvin Johnson, 25 yards for the touchdown. And the Texans continue to pour it on. And that touchdown reception is the 5th for him in this game, and that ties the NFL record.
And a record that's held up since 1950. This is another person that's tied it, but think about this. Bob Shaw said it in 1950. Kellen Winslow came along and tied it. And then, of course, Jerry Rice tied it as well. And finally, we're seeing it here one more time. Phenomenal.
Here's Walsh now to kick this one off. This is fielded a couple yards deep. Now a hit and a loose football. So a teammate picking him up there, that was nearly disaster.
And the way that you coach these things, you want to make sure you have eyes towards the return guy because you want to make sure that the catch is secured. A lot of teams do that. They have at least one guy. Okay, you're responsible for making sure he secures the catch. He's not always the one that makes the recovery, but he can always sound out the alarm. Hey, ball's on the ground. We've got to get it back.
Well, they know how to protect the pass, but sometimes cornerbacks, they can also stop the run, can't they?
Is that what we call a complete corner? Yeah, because we're so used to these guys just being defenders in the pass game. How about the guys who can come up and make the tackles? That's what we just saw there for no gain, too.
First half in the books. An abbreviated halftime show as we get rolling to quarter 3. And how about this right out of the locker room? An onside kick attempt. And the Jaguars are going to cover this one up. But a gutsy call there. Yates at the locker room with a lead. Tried the onside kick. It didn't work.
And you just wonder what the gain was there. They were already in the lead. They were in control of the game. They may have given momentum now to their opponent and maybe kick-started things going in the opposite direction.
The third quarter starts with a run by Gurley. And he's got room. A Jacksonville first down on a pickup of 17.
Sometimes it's hard to believe, but there are times this game is about patience, isn't it? Has had the game he expected, but that run there, that may get him going.
I was just going to say, maybe that gives him a little juice because you're... And oh, my goodness, he loses it again. And the Texans say they have it. They do. Often on fumbles, you look at the guy who coughed it up and say, geez, what did he do? But, hey, let's tip the cap to the defense here.
Not a problem at all, my man. I'm not even going to tip it. I'm going to doff my cap to him. Congratulations. Big-time play. Knocking it free and creating some...
Now the defense loses him. It's complete. And oh, so close as he takes it all the way to the 2-yard line. A huge play there for Houston. 74 yards. So the defense blitzed. A nice job picking that up, completing the pass.
And how in sync was the quarterback in his center on that play? They saw the blitz, made the appropriate calls, got the line engaged because now they know there are going to be extra guys coming at the quarterback, so they got their assignments down pat and kept them away from him, and he's able to step up in the pocket and fire one now for a really good strike.
Down this close to the goal line, first down. Surprised that wasn't a run?
I am, and you know I'm old school. I want to run the ball on first down in this situation because second down...
And got his man. It's caught. Touchdown, Houston. Calvin Johnson, a 2-yard touchdown grab. And the Texans capitalize on the fumble and turn it into 6. And that, boys and girls, is an NFL record. 6th touchdown reception. The record has stood since 1950. What a game.
How about that? Because so many things have to go right in order for it to happen.
Oh, they flip it to the kicker. He looks like he's going to throw it. This will be caught just inside the 10. And make him 4 for 4 now on 2-point conversions as he'll take this one in for the score. Here's Walsh now to kick this one off. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Here comes the Jaguars offense as they get set here. And the turnover last time, that's sort of been symptomatic of their struggles here in this one.
Big word. I like it, though, because you're exactly right.
Like that, don't you?
All game long, they've struggled moving the ball.
And Gurley here fumbled it. Gurley fumbles the football. It's loose. And the Texans say they have it. They do. And the Texans set to come onto the field. Well, these guys hardly got a chance to catch their breath after the quick turnover, but I doubt they're complaining much.
Especially with the field position they get to start with. I wouldn't be complaining either. I'd want to get right back out there and get after them, because now you have an opportunity to make a big play. I'd say I'd...
And that is caught. Touchdown, Texans. Calvin Johnson, 35 yards. And the Texans capitalize on the fumble and turn it into 6. I don't even know what to say anymore. I mean, I've lost track of how many times he's been in the end zone. This is just flat unbelievable.
Doesn't matter whether you have an abacus, a calculator, just old-fashioned pencil and paper trying to total it up. The number is staggering. What a performance. This man knows how to find the end zone and make it count.
Here's Walsh now to kick this one off. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line.
All right, here we go.
They'll try and start the drive with Gurley. Oh, he's got a little daylight. Todd Gurley, wave goodbye. And they're going to have this across midfield and inside the 45. He's able to rip off 32 on that one. It's a first down.
Well, partner, I have to say they called him in the right defense there. Nickel set, fifth defensive back on the field, and they love to run against that because now you typically get a bigger blocker on a smaller defender.
Yeah, because those DBs like you, they want the interception. They're not as worried about the running play, right?
Not at all. And I still remember being in school, and one of my offensive line teammates used to say, boy, I'd love to come downfield and hit you little people.
Good run there. Now Elway to throw. From the left side here, and it's complete. And he fumbled it. It's on the ground. And the Texans scoop it. And his guys will take over at the 25-yard line. And now out comes Houston. Watson will bring up the Texans here, 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. Following the fumble recovery, Watson. He's going to loft one deep left side here. It's caught inside the 25. And he's in. Touchdown, Houston. Calvin Johnson, 75 yards. And the Texans add on. Well, you know he can be explosive, and he's ultra-explosive there on the fly route.
And you know how many times we've talked to coaches and we've had quoted back to us, well, you know something? When you execute really well, it doesn't matter if they know it's coming or not. Well, sometimes athleticism beats you as well. He just took off and went. That's almost like one of your Turkey Bowl games, isn't it? Just go.
Oh, they flip it to the kicker. He looks like he's going to throw it. That's going to be caught at the 10-yard line. And he will not make it to the goal line as his try for two is going to come up empty. But that's little consolation to this defense as they have been porous all game long. Here's Walsh now to kick this one off. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And the decision to bring it out, a good one, as he's up a yard or two shy of the 30. And out now comes Jacksonville as they get ready to go. And last time the turnover on the fumble, and they were in enemy territory, so that had to be very frustrating. Down on the scoreboard here, can't do it again.
You nailed every part of it.
And Gurley here fumbled it. Gurley fumbles the football. It's loose. And the Texans scoop it. And this return is going to be halted right around the 28-yard line. And now out comes Houston. Watson, following the fumble recovery, he'll throw. And got his man. It's caught. Touchdown, Houston. Julian Edelman.
Performance, and most of the time when we talk about someone putting a team on their back, I think we're talking about a guy who runs the football. In this case, it's a guy out wide catching it, and he's done exactly that. Truly leading his team right now towards victory.
3 touchdown catches. He's been the headliner. Walsh adds the extra. Something right now, really anything to cling on to. This offense has struggled.
Partner, join me in a walk to their locker room at the half.
And Gurley here fumbled it. Gurley fumbles the football. It's loose. And the Texans scoop it. And his guys are going to take over at the 34-yard line. From the 34 now, here's 1st and 10.
Come back.
Following the fumble recovery, Watson. He's going to look deep down the field. Oh, he had 6 points in his hands there. Couldn't hang on. 2nd down.
I know you felt like saying touchdown there, didn't you, partner? That looked like a sure 6 points, but the contact jarred it free.
Got his hands on it, could not hold on through the end of the play. He's going to air one out. And incomplete there. A nice hit. Jars the ball free and brings up 3rd down. The turnover put him in great field position. They don't want to squander it with 3rd down coming up.
No, not at all. And you know what else you do? You make your defense mad.
Yeah.
He got you the football, gave you a great opportunity. You got to cash in and get some points.
Trying for Edelman again. This time he's got it. And this is a blowout so far as we get set for the 4th quarter. A very one-sided affair. Watson now 13 out of 17 throwing the ball. He's got a 1st down. Watson looks to throw again. And this will be caught. And the carnage continues. It's another touchdown. So another score there. Often you talk about the 3 phases of the game. Defense, offense, special teams. It's been a clean sweep in this one, hasn't it?
It certainly has. They've been pretty dominant throughout this game. And privately, the head coach will add a 4th phase. That's the coaching. And he'll tell the ownership that as he tries to negotiate a new contract off of this win.
They are looking strong here in the 4th quarter. Extra point up and good by Walsh. And the lead will swell by 1 more. A drive there of just 4 plays. And the result, a Houston touchdown. Here's Walsh now to kick this one off. Very short kick. This will be taken by one of the up men. And they're going to start this drive in pretty good shape as they get it up past the 30. The Jaguars getting set to go. They are looking to make a bit of a 180. They are sputtering right now.
And frankly, I think it's time to call your playmakers together and say, all right.
And Gurley here fumbled it. Gurley fumbles the football. It's loose. And the Texans scoop it. And they take possession of the football and have it at the 36-yard line.
As they say, this game hasn't exactly been one for the books. I mean, we're into the 4th quarter here, and now this happens, another turnover. Not one that they're going to hold up and say, yeah, this has been a banner day.
Absolutely. Still sitting on 0. To throw is Watson. Following the fumble recovery, he'll throw. And give him another 6. It's caught for a touchdown, and the blowout continues.
Well, this game is definitely over, but we do know some people like to go ahead and continue to add to their score, don't we?
Yeah, I don't know that they need to add any more right now, though. I'm just starting to think about those dinner plans tonight, my friend.
Well, you and I will be thinking about dinner plans, but we also know they're playing people are thinking, how can I get some more scores for my fantasy, for every other thing?
Oh, they flip it to the kicker. He looks like he's going to throw it. That'll be caught right side by Reed. And he's brought down just outside of the 10 at the 11.
Partner, that type of a lead, and they're going to fake it from the 15 to try and pick up a 2-point play instead of kicking it through the post. Come on, man. Put that in mothballs. Come on. Come on. Don't do that.
Put that in mothballs.
Yeah, preserve that for it. That's an ancient relic, faking it. I can understand you want to rub it in a little. You fake it when you snapped it from the 3. But from the 15, mothball that bad boy, just like my grandmother had.
Yeah,
in her attic, the stuff she used to preserve.
It smelled terrible. They'll start out on the ground with Gurley. And he'll fight forward to about the 27-yard line. Give him a couple on the carry there. 2nd and 8.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
Another carry now for Gurley. And Gurley fumbled it. Gurley fumbles the football. It's loose. And the Texans scoop it. And he is going to get this one back to the 20-yard line.
Okay, this isn't one where you want to take the game tape and hold it up as an example, do you? I mean, you talk about frustrating all the way through. And that last error, I think that crystallizes it, doesn't it?
Absolutely. That's been representative of their entire game still being shot. And this will be caught. And the carnage continues. It's another touchdown.
You have fun with this one, partner?
I am. I mean, he's been fun to watch under center.
We always talk about, getting to the next level, right? When we see people get into the zone. This guy's in the master class right now. What a performance he's putting on, just carving them up.
4 touchdown passes. Carving him up is right. Seems like everything he throws is going to be a completion and going in the end zone. Walsh adds the extra point, and that will extend this big lead. Well, they got the ball in great field position. One play later, boom, end zone. Here's Walsh now to kick this one off. Short kick. One of the up middle take it down. And they're going to start this drive in pretty good shape as they get it up past the 30. The Jaguars offense now heads back onto the field. They're sort of seeing themselves spiral out of control. Let's see if they can get things back on track.
And this is where the coach is walking that line of being calm and really.
And now a fumble. The ball's out. And the Texans say they have it. They do. Time for a break. Back to finish it off on EA Sports after this. Heading out is the Texans offense as they get set to take over here. And this game comfortably in hand. The scoreboard speaks for itself, but you still got your starting quarterback out there. When do you go to the backup? Let him get some time. And that's one of the great questions in the NFL, Brandon, because I'm just going to tell you. And give him another 6. It's caught for a touchdown, and the blowout continues. And, my friend, I think it's safe to say that this game is pretty much deceased at this point. It's taken a knee, so to speak.
It is definitely this victory formation. Take the snap, take the knee, call it a night, call it a game, call it whatever. I agree with you totally. I don't think there's much left to get except for those who want to run up the score.
I knew this was over about a minute ago when you took your stat sheet and just flipped it over your shoulder in the trash can.
Yeah, that's similar to the guys cutting tape off right before the game's over. We know this thing's done.
And we can break that scoring drive down pretty easily. One play, long touchdown pass into the end zone. That's fielded in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. And out now comes Jacksonville as they get ready to go. They are just obviously getting shellacked here in this one, Charles. What's the message if you're a coach for this final drive in a lopsided game like this?
For a lot of coaches,
be honest.
Don't forget today. Don't forget what has happened out here.
Yeah, use that as ammo going forward.
Exactly. Take a great look at that scoreboard. Realize how poorly everything went for us today. Coaching, playing, the whole deal. And never forget it, because
you're not going to want that feeling.
No, you don't want that feeling again. And who knows? You may meet up with this team again.
Johnson with a completion over the middle. And Johnson lost the football. It's loose, poked out. And the Texans scoop it. And they'll take over inside the 45 at the 44-yard line.
Well, partner, I think it's safe to say they can mark this down as extremely frustrating. Here we are in the fourth quarter, and that last play, that turnover, I think it epitomizes what happened to them all day on offense.
So symbolic, and that's why they're still being shut out. They go play action here on first down. And they are going to score again. Yet another touchdown as they just add to their totals.
There's no doubt in my mind.
And do you hear that? Do you hear the...
It's not scales, right? I don't hear scales. Do I actually hear a tune being warbled?
I think the fat lady's humming.
Yeah, she's doing more than humming. She's belting it out right now.
Going. She's full bore.
Yeah, this thing is flat out finished.
Extra point up and good by Walsh. And the lead will swell by one more. Here's Walsh now to kick this one off. That'll be taken in the end zone. And he'll elect not to return this one, so they'll bring it out to the 25 on the touchback. And out now comes Jacksonville as they get ready to go. Let's just be frank. They're playing for pride at this point.
That's all that's left, because victory Not a chance now. And I can't wait to see how they actually go about doing it, because there are a lot of people watching the body language of the guys on the field now. And if they call plays they want executed, they need to do that and do it really well. Otherwise, there could be repercussions.
We'll see how they handle the waning moments of this one.
Hurry up, here we go. 3-19.
Back to the workhorse today. It's Gurley. And Gurley here fumbled it. Gurley fumbles the football. It's loose. And the Texans scoop it. He's at the 30. And that might just cement it. A return for a late touchdown. And he has great speed, defensive back speed. Once he got it and took off, there was no catching it.
And I know every team tells you to hustle no matter what the play, but there was no chance of catching him. Maybe if it had been a defensive tackle running with the ball, but not in this case.
Walsh adds the extra point, and that will extend this big lead. And you can bet they're preaching two hands on the ball here as the kick's away following that fumble return. That'll be taken in the end zone. And he'll elect not to return this one, so they'll bring it out to the 25 on the touchback.
Hurry up, here we go. 3-19. 3-19.
On 1st and 10, Elway. And they'll set up the screen to Gurley. And he'll get it up near the 35, right at the 34 here. A good first down call as the screen play gets him 9.
For a second there, I thought that might break big. Screen pass. Looked like it was coming together. Looked like there was an opening. Still, ended up with a solid game.
And that didn't fool anybody. He's going to be dropped in the backfield. He lost 2 there, and it's 3rd down.
We think, Brandon, I like the intensity this defense is showing right here in these first few drives. They're not just holding the line because they're doing their job, but they're doing more than that, aren't they? They're getting a nice push into the offensive backfield.
And a great example right there for the loss on the tackle. And somewhat of a measure of revenge as he's in for the touchdown, but they still trail big time.
He'll take it, but he won't be able to smile about it.
So they will get on the scoreboard here. Give him credit for that. Too little, too late, but no 0. Oh, you're going slow clap on me.
Not very nice, is it?
No, but they haven't been very nice on offense. It's been a struggle. Extra point up and good by Walsh as they make the score just a slight bit more respectable here in the final quarter of play. And on the return, here comes Adam Jones. And he is out of bounds here on the return. And now out comes Houston. They have the dream scenario you hope for coming into the game. Just one kneel here, and this game should be over.
And it's always the final play of preparation each week. The practicing of the kneel-down formation, the victory formation. We've got a game in hand.
Oh, wide open, complete. 30, past the 20, 10, 5. And he will get into the end zone. It's another touchdown. This thing is ugly.
Well, I've got to laugh here, and I really don't want to because the old school in me is not happy about this score this late, not necessary. But this is Madden, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is how it works.
Rub it in. Have a day.
I mean, what does it matter? These guys who are playing in this game, there are no feelings
Exactly.
there.
They don't have to face the guy. Well, they might if they're in the same room going head-to-head. But
that's
the
about
virtual guys on the screen don't have to face each other after this one.
In that case, run it up.
Extra point try now for Walsh. Walsh adds the extra point, and the lead will swell by 1 more. Here's Walsh now to kick this one off. That's fielded in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. One last shot for Elway. He's going to let it fly. Into heavy traffic, and it's intercepted. Picked up by Deion Sanders. And they will take over possession of the football at their 42-yard line. But Charles, it's one thing to win. It's another thing to win and put up the amount of points that they did. Why were they clicking on offense?
They can't help but feel great about themselves, can they? I mean, what a game to put up that number of points, continually feeling like they're moving the ball and things are working and clicking. They think that they can bop.
This is the NFL on EA Sports, and we are in the Pacific Northwest at CenturyLink Field in Seattle, Washington. This crowd, as we've come to expect in recent years, as loud as any in the NFL, and they get even louder when their Seahawks are introduced. We're ready for football as the Seahawks get set to do battle with the Houston Texans. So here's Kaimi Fairbairn to do the honors. And off we go from Seattle. Throwing now, Wilson on first down. He's got the tight end, Vanette. And they'll bring him down at the 27-yard line. Give him a couple on the catch. It's 2nd and 8.
And, partner, I think that was a great example that not all tight ends are created equal. Because everything was right. Got the completion, but he's not one of the more dynamic guys in the league. So even though he caught it, couldn't turn it into much more.
They'll break the huddle, come up on 2nd and 8 at the 27-yard line. The former Gamecock here. This is Mike Davis. And, right away, he lost the football. And the Texans scoop it. And they have the football and will take over at the 24-yard line. Well, he's not the starter coming in, getting his first carry off the bench. That's not the way to earn more carries.
You have to stay in the game, even if you're not on the field, right? Stay mentally sharp, stay ready. And above all, when you get into the game, hold on to the football. Don't let the other team have it.
Give him 9 there on the first down completion.
Nothing fancy on first down, but a very consistent type of a play. Hit that slant. A lot of people call him an extension of the running game, and it can be if that pass is completed, because you hit a guy on the run like that, you often can go for big yardage.
Sets him up nicely for 2nd down, staying ahead of schedule. He'll get 5 out of the scramble. It's 2nd down.
And we have to give credit to him for buying time and extending the play. But you know, there's some really upset defenders on that one. They thought that they had him. Instead, he was coated in Teflon and got away.
Second and goal from the 1. Here's Watson. And that is caught. Touchdown, Texans. Jordan Akins, a 1-yard touchdown reception. And the Texans have taken the early lead. Well, they sucked the defense in with a play fake, went over the top.
And I know from past experience, when offenses do that, a lot of times the defense guys are screaming at them, run the ball, run the ball. The offense doesn't really care. They got 6 points.
Fairbairn now to kick this one away. And no return on this one as the fair catch is signaled for and taken. While we have a second here, let's peek back to the Super Bowl. The lowest scoring Super Bowl, Charles, in history, 13-3. And it took us 53 minutes to get our first touchdown of Super Bowl 53.
Can you believe they went into the half? 3-0 New England. Steven Gostkowski with a field goal. Then they finally tie it up with Greg Zuerlein at the end of 3 quarters of the Rams knocking one through the post. The Patriots, the 3rd team to win the year after losing the Super Bowl, the first since the Dolphins in 1972.
And, of course, the big number now for New England, 6 titles, and they are tied with the Steelers for the most ever. And it's a short one here, complete to the tight end. And he'll get it up near the 35, right at the 34 here. They'll wind up getting 10 back as that sets them up for 3rd down. On 3rd down, it's Carson, and he's going to have the first down at about the 38. It's a gain of 4 there, and it gives him a new set of downs.
3rd and 1, partner. No need to be fancy there. Just use some force and move forward and pick up the first down.
Running game working. They'll stick with it on 1st down. And nothing doing. He's immediately taken down at the line of scrimmage. Jadeveon Clowney there on the stop.
He has elite instincts from his linebacker spot. He's able to diagnose the run and flies in like a missile to stop that one behind the line of scrimmage.
And the grab made by Doug Baldwin. And they bring him to the ground just shy of midfield. Baldwin's first catch going to be good enough for a 1st down. They'll run it now out of the gun. And good penetration here. He'll get this down only to about the 49-yard line. Credit him with a 1-yard gain there to make it 2nd and 9.
One thing to keep in mind, partner, especially in the second half, when you've got a running back of this size, of these dimensions, I can just tell you, attrition does set in for a defense because you're excited about hitting him in the first half. Maybe not so much in the second half, and some of these shorter games turn into bigger runs later.
And he'll go out of bounds finally at the 7. A big play that time for the Seahawks. 42 yards. An inaugural trip to the red zone here for the Seahawks. They've got it 1st and goal at the 7. Alongside my broadcast partner, Charles Davis, Brandon Gaudin hits the Seahawks with a football to begin. Out of the gun, here's Wilson. Looking for Baldwin, intercepted. Zach Cunningham with a pick. And he'll be stopped shy of the 15 at the 14-yard line on the return.
Brandon, this is why golfers do their best to never count a score in their head before the ball goes in the cup. This looked like a slam dunk for points on this drive, didn't it? Instead, they throw an interception, and they're going to come away empty.
After the interception, here's Watson. Flushed out right. Wide open receiver complete. And they work this well upfield across the 45. A gain of 32 that time.
As a general rule, offensive linemen like to know where their quarterback's going to be when he's setting up to throw the football. But sometimes they just have to get on the run, get on the move. He was able to do that on that play and picks up a 1st down with a nice throw.
23 yards on the play.
Sometimes it's designed, and sometimes you just have to know when to leave the pocket and move and make something happen. And on that play, he was able to get on the run and was still accurate throwing the football.
Now a handoff to Miller. And he's going to be met at the line of scrimmage and taken down. Earl Thomas in on the stop. He had a great read there from his free safety position. And, Charles, you know with those guys, it's all about their eyes. They have to be laser-focused.
Yeah, I had to fake my way through it when I was playing, but now I can see exactly what they're doing. And on that play, he obviously had no presence to feel like he's being pushed for a pass. And without that, that allowed him to get up to the line of scrimmage and hold him to no gain.
And they'll work it inside the 15-yard line before it's all said and done. He is putting on a show in this second quarter, racking up the receiving yards as he has a first down. Now it's Watson, buying time to his left. That is caught. Hopkins for the Texans touchdown. DeAndre Hopkins from 13 yards out. And the Texans will add on to their lead. Extra point by Fairbairn, up and good. And that'll make the score 14-0. Fairbairn now to kick this one away. That'll be taken in the end zone. And the decision to bring it out will cost him about 5 yards as he'll get this only back to the 20. As Seattle makes their way back out here, Charles, let's take a little deeper dive as they go into the offseason, what they need to do. They led the NFL in rushing yards. You talked about it. They ran the football well. Where do they need to improve?
Maybe a little less stubbornness in a step.
He rifles one that's intercepted. Picked off at the 38. And he'll bring this one back to the 29.
When a team's turned it over 3 times in the first half, we just look at the offense and say, guys, what are you doing? But instead, we really should be looking at the defense. They've created the takeaways. 2 interceptions, 1 caused fumble. They played awfully well swarming to the ball here in the first half.
Rush coming, and he's taken down. Bobby Wagner leading the surge there. He drops him for a loss of 6.
Well, maybe that can give him a little bit of a pick-me-up, a little bit of a jolt. One of the few things that's gone right defensively.
Because other than that, it's really been a first half to forget. Oh, he's got a man wide open, complete. And they're going to be set up down around the 15-yard line. And a nice gain of 21 yards. On 1st and 10, Watson. That's complete right around the 8. And all the way down inside the 5 to the 4. 11 more on that one and another first down. So in the second quarter, he's already up over 100 yards received. And he's in for the score. Touchdown, Texans. A great effort.
You might as well quit. You can't fucking beat me. You trash, bro. Fucking trash.
Folding under pressure, I ain't switching for no. I ain't talking to no cop and I ain't telling on my bros. Ain't no, but don't push me, fingers itching on that. Plotting on my come up, gotta watch stay at my nose. Long nights, just to hit the studio. Now I'm eating steak and shrimp. I ain't eating sloppy Joe. Looking to the mirror, flexing now it in his glow. Bust off like a. Welcome to the rodeo. Shorty wanted me, cousin wearing gold. I came up and made it happen. I was by the stove. Big inside this case is one. Do me dirty, I'ma find you lay out on the floor. 19 with a I got rich by myself. Rather do this alone. I wasn't asking for no help. They keep asking how I'm winning with the card that I was dealt.
Appreciate y'all watching me, man. Beating these niggas ass, bro.
Call my brother on the phone.
Appreciate y'all, man. Go ahead, tune in. About 15 to 20 seconds, I'm gonna be on COD, so tune into that. Appreciate y'all, man.
I'm in a good position for this life, can't sabotage.